You know that feeling when the world hasn't quite woken up yet? It's still dark outside, but the horizon is shifting. You're standing at the kitchen window at 5 in the morning, a warm cup in your hand, watching the first hints of daylight blur the edges of night. The streetlights blink out one by one, surrendering their glow as the sky begins its quiet transformation. Nothing dramatic is happening, yet everything is changing. It's subtle, almost invisible, but undeniable. That moment, between darkness and dawn, between endings and beginnings, is where you are right now in your life, even if you can't name it. And maybe you've felt restless lately. Maybe you've been asking yourself why progress feels slow, why certain doors haven't opened yet, why you keep circling back to the same questions. Maybe you've caught yourself comparing your pace to everyone else's, wondering if you're behind, wondering if you missed the turn you were supposed to take. I've been there too. I've heard it in the voices of friends who feel stuck, in the late night messages from people convinced they've lost their way, in my own reflections when I've stared at the ceiling and asked, am I moving fast enough toward whatever it is I'm supposed to become? But here's the truth I've discovered, the truth I've lived and relearned again and again. Timing has its own intelligence, and everything you're experiencing right now, every delay, every pause, every uncertain in-between, makes perfect sense, even if your mind can't see it yet. We live in a world that has taught us to worship speed, to measure our worth by acceleration, to define success as a straight line shooting upward, unbroken, unhindered, relentless. We're told that if we're not sprinting, we're falling behind. If we're not achieving, we're failing. If we're not constantly producing, we're somehow less. But nothing in nature works that way. Nothing meaningful grows in an endless upward surge. Real transformation doesn't happen in constant acceleration. Real transformation is cyclical, rhythmic, layered, patient. Think about how a river moves. It doesn't carve through mountains by force or speed. It doesn't rage forward in a straight line. It winds and bends. It loops back on itself. It takes the long route, the unexpected detour. To the untrained eye, it looks inefficient, meandering, slow. But the river knows the truth. The river trusts the terrain. Every curve has purpose. Every delay has meaning. Every obstacle shapes the journey in ways straight lines never could. That's what your life is doing right now. That's what this season is about. The delays you're experiencing aren't mistakes. The detours you've been frustrated by aren't proof that you're off track. They are shaping you in ways you can't yet perceive. They are redirecting you toward landscapes you couldn't have planned for, but that will matter far more than what you thought you wanted. I remember a conversation with someone not long ago. They were weary, burnt out from trying. For 2 years, they had been working toward a career shift. Every time an opportunity seemed within reach, it collapsed. Every time a door cracked open, it slammed shut. They asked me over and over, why is this taking so long? Why isn't it working? At the time, they couldn't see it, but within weeks of that conversation, the right opportunities, better than anything they had imagined, began appearing effortlessly. Timing hadn't betrayed them. Timing had been aligning them. Those delays had been protection. That waiting had been preparation. And isn't that always the way? We think timing is cruel, but later we see it was precise. We think silence means abandonment, but later we realize silence was incubation. The soil doesn't reveal the seed's progress, yet something is happening beneath the surface long before the sprout breaks through. Life works like that too. Here's what most people never understand. Clarity doesn't come before the first step. Clarity comes from walking forward without having all the answers. You don't get the full map in advance. You don't get guarantees, blueprints, certainty. You get whispers, you get nudges, you get one step at a time. And with each step, the fog lifts just enough for the next one to appear. Your timeline isn't broken. You are not behind. That invisible schedule you think everyone else is following, that's an illusion. What's real is your rhythm, your season, your unfolding. What's real is that life has been moving pieces behind the curtain, arranging connections, shifting circumstances, positioning you in ways you couldn't orchestrate no matter how hard you tried. Even when it feels like nothing is happening, everything is happening. The phone call you dismissed months ago planted a seed. The project that fell apart freed you for the thing that's coming. The rejection that stung redirected you toward alignment. The silence that frustrated you gave space for unseen roots to grow. And yes, I know it's hard. The pressure you feel to rush, to speed up, to force outcomes, to make something happen, that pressure comes from a culture that values arrival more than journey, speed more than depth, productivity more than presence. But you are not here to move mechanically. You are not here to sprint to some finish line. You are here to move organically, to grow like seasons, not machines, to trust cycles, not clocks. Every delay has been doing something in you. Every closed door has been a teacher. Every quiet morning has been building resilience. Every uncertainty has been deepening trust. While your mind thinks you're standing still, your soul knows you're being reshaped. This isn't waiting for life to start. This is life. This in-between, this unfolding, this slow becoming. This is the path. This is the transformation. Think about the dawn again. For so long, the sky looks unchanged. Then, in an instant, light floods the horizon. It feels sudden, but it wasn't. It was gradual, imperceptible, until suddenly it was undeniable. Seasons shift the same way. The tree outside your window doesn't look different one day to the next, but then suddenly the leaves are gone, or suddenly the blossoms are everywhere. Change happens slowly, then all at once. That's what's happening in you. The conversations you've had, the lessons you've learned, the boundaries you've set, the questions you've asked yourself, all of it has been part of the reshaping. All of it has been necessary. You've been tempted to measure your progress by visible results, by milestones, achievements, validations, but the real progress has been happening inside. You handle uncertainty differently now. You see yourself differently now. You allow yourself to want differently now. That's transformation. When we rush, when we force, we often end up with the wrong thing at the wrong time. We grab opportunities we're not ready to carry. We chase relationships we don't yet have the capacity to nurture. We demand answers we're not mature enough to receive. And then we wonder why it falls apart. But when we trust timing, when we surrender to unfolding, what comes is not only right, but arrives when we are ready to hold it. That's why every great story has a middle. A stretch where the hero doesn't know how they'll make it through. A stretch where everything feels impossible. That's not a mistake in the story. That's where the transformation happens. You're in that middle right now. Not because you failed, but because you're in the part of the story worth telling. And even now, if you pay attention, the signs are there. Opportunities showing up in unexpected forms. People crossing your path who share your visions, your questions, your struggles. Ideas circling back again and again, refusing to be ignored. Sudden clarity in moments you didn't expect. Your intuition has been louder lately, hasn't it? That inner nudge steering you away from things that look good on paper, but feel wrong in your body. That subtle pull toward choices that defy logic, but feel completely right. That growing ability to sense when something is yours and when it isn't. This is what alignment feels like. The more you stop fighting timing, the clearer your inner guidance becomes. You move with the current instead of against it. Life doesn't suddenly become easy, but it becomes aligned. Doors open with less resistance. Paths appear with less strain. And here's what you need to know. The breakthrough you're waiting for, it won't arrive the way you've imagined. It won't look cinematic. It won't arrive with trumpets and applause. It will feel natural, seamless, as if it was always meant to be. You'll look back and wonder why you ever doubted, why you ever rushed, why you ever feared you were behind. Because every day that feels like nothing is happening is part of the preparation. Every small act of showing up, every choice to keep going, Every quiet moment of trust is building the foundation. Later you'll see how it all fit together. Later you'll see how even the delays were blessings. So right now, trust this. Trust the slowness. Trust the detours. Trust the silence. Trust that your path is revealing itself at the only pace it could. Trust that you don't need to know the entire story to live this chapter fully. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need the full staircase. You only need the next step. And you already know what that step is. Even if it's small, even if it seems insignificant, follow it. Show up for it. Let it lead you. Your story is unfolding in ways more beautiful than you can imagine. Not despite the delays, but because of them. Not despite the uncertainty, but through it. Not despite the waiting, but in it. And one day soon, you'll wake up like you did at that window at 5 in the morning. You'll realize the night has given way to light. You'll realize everything makes sense. You'll realize the timing was never late. It was always perfect. So breathe. Trust. Keep walking. Your path is not behind schedule. It's right on time.